Okay, welcome to this lecture on pages versus posts. And in the lecture, we're going to talk about what exactly the difference is between a WordPress page and a WordPress post and when you should use each of them. So what exactly is the difference? Well, before we begin, I'll just say that Udemy actually have a pretty good article on their blog about this topic. I've included the URL there for you. Like I said, it's a good explanation, but it's not really SEO focused, which is kind of what we're going to talk about now. So pages, posts, what am I supposed to be doing here? Well, WordPress offers you both. So they offer pages and they offer posts as options for you to create content. And they're not really very clear about what actually the difference is up front. Posts are the default content type in WordPress now. They're great for blogs and news items, and really posts are very time sensitive. If you think back to the origins of WordPress as a blogging platform, then you can see why posts are the default content type. Posts themselves they belong to categories, they have tags, they have authors, and they have dates associated with them. And by default, posts should have comments enabled, but a post can't be your homepage of your site. You can have a listing of posts, so you can have the default sort of blog feed on your homepage with all the blog postings on there, but a blog itself cannot be assigned in WordPress as your homepage. Now, pages, they're really good for static content. And again, if you think about it, with the evolution of WordPress, pages and became a thing to help make it a more robust content management solution. Pages themselves are only accessible via links. So you don't just have lists of pages like you do blog posts. You have to actively put in some form of navigation for people to get to them, or people have to know the page URL to go directly. Pages shouldn't have comments on them, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we start going into the SEO value. But a page can, in fact, be your homepage in WordPress. So what's the SEO value of a page versus a post? Google doesn't really care. So we'll start off as that's the opening point. To Google, it's all just an HTML page. It's got content on there, and they'll index it and crawl it no matter what. But the thing about posts is that when you have comments on them, it can really skew your keyword density. So keyword density is how many times certain words appear on a text of page. Now, if you have comments about your post and the people making the comments keep using the keywords over and over and over again in every single comment, you end up with a very keyword dense post, and that can kind of cause you a long-term ranking problem. Pages effectively give you control of this because you don't have the content, the comments on there. You can actually control how often your keywords are used on an individual page. Again, it comes back to the site structure, which we talked about in earlier lectures. Pages give you more structure because they have a singular purpose. There's not comments. They're not worried about tags and categories. They're not siloing information. Pages are a platform upon which you can just create good pillar content on a page. And then what you really want to do is to further the structure is you reference your pages and backlink to them with anchor text within your posts. So your posts are effectively internally promoting your pillar content that you put on pages. So in summary, your homepage will always be a page unless you use the blog style homepage, which has multiple blogs on there. It's important that you put your best content on pages. So if you have a blog post that's really super popular, it gets a lot of feedback, it is one of those posts that gains a lot of traction. A really good idea then is to take that post, turn it into a page, and reformat it so that you can control things like keyword density and category. You don't have categories and things like that. Posts, again, are blogs, news items, time-sensitive type things. They'll roll off a page. But ultimately, don't get too hung up on this. It's much more important from both a website visitor attraction perspective, but also from an SEO point of view, that you actually just create more and more content. And if you end up getting lost in should I do pages and should I do posts, you end up not doing anything. So don't let it be the overarching principle upon which you base your site, but just bear it in mind from a site structure perspective.